What's up guys, this is Nishi from MST.TV here, bringing you guys another Market Watch episode. This one's going to be a little bit different from our usual episodes, so we haven't seen too many huge price changes over the last week or so. Things are kind of settling down after YCS Portland and the release of the Megatons. Nothing is really like tripled just out of nowhere in terms of price, kind of like unexpectedly. But that being said, what we are going to do instead is review some of the prices of cards in the Megatons, because I do believe that there's a lot of opportunity to invest there, because we're seeing a lot of cards that are cheaper than what people were, I think, originally expecting, and I wanted to have a bit of a discussion about those cards. After that, we're going to take a look at a few cards that have kind of crept up in price a bit recently. For the most part, these aren't cards that are going to break the bank or anything, but they're cards that are maybe sitting in your dollar binder that have gone overlooked, that are worth a little bit more now. And like personally, I love it when the cards do that, because typically they're cards that I wasn't expecting to move at all, and I'm now going to be getting some value from them, which is great. So yeah, let's jump right into it. Okay, so looking at this year's Megatons, we're actually seeing pretty low prices for like almost everything across the board, especially if we compare them to last year's Megatons. Right, last year we had cards like Boreload and Yugioh that were very easily over $20, and then we see cards like Electromite and Firewall Dragon that were all relatively high up there in terms of price. But when we look at this year's Megatons, the only cards that we're really seeing at or above $10 are Boreload Dragon, Danger Jackalope, or Called by the Grave. And there are a number of reasons why these prices are the way that they are. First up, the value of the promos is so high that people are just tearing open product, right? With promos like Nibiru and Dark Ruler No More, then the God cards and Monster Reborn and Raigeki, that's a lot of value that you know you're getting back when you open a case of Megatons. So as a result, people tear open the product knowing that they're going to be making most of their value back from the promos and not really caring too much about all of the value that they should be getting from the mega packs. As a result, the supply for the cards in that mega pack just increases like so much, which forces the prices of cards down. Another factor is that we do have a ban list coming in October, which really puts a cap on how prices will get to go. There are like a lot of nice reprints here, like the Thunder Dragon cards and all the Crusadia cards, but people are expecting decks like Sky Striker and Crusadia Danger Thunder Dragon to get hit, even though it technically hasn't been confirmed yet. Also, the ban list is still like a month away, so people still have the chance to play the deck over the next little while. However, the looming ban list really puts a cap on how high those prices can go, because people know that something is going to be happening to these decks. Similarly, we have Dual Devastator coming in October, so we know that a lot of side deck cards and staple cards are going to be reprinted. So whereas cards like Nightmare Unicorn or Boreload Dragon, Called by the Grave, or Red Reboot might go up in price under normal circumstances, the fact that they could be reprinted again in holo and made even more easily accessible in just over a month really limits potential increases in price and discourages people from investing in more copies than they need to have in order to play. That being said, there are some opportunities for investment here, assuming that you are willing to assume some risk. Remember that nothing is certain in Yu-Gi-Oh!, so you have to make some assumptions and hope that you're going to be right. I actually think that the Danger engine won't be hit any more than it has, so I think that they do make great investments at the moment. Nessie, Jackalope, and Tsuchinoko are all currently already at 2. I think that the engine is still going to be good moving forward, and it's not going to necessarily be abused in everything like it was before, so I think that they are relatively safe from the ban list for now. I do think that the new promos, Dark Ruler No More and Nibiru, are all worth having at least a set of at the moment. I don't really see them going down in price anytime soon. Like, you can play around Nibiru and you can play cards that will negate Dark Ruler No More, but like it's still like you're gonna draw them sometimes and sometimes you're not. From what I've seen, they did see play at the regional level in people's side decks from the past weekend. So I do think that they are going to continue to see play over the next little while, even though people are probably going to be trying to adjust their decks accordingly. So yeah, they're not getting hit on the ban list anytime soon, definitely, and they're not probably gonna see a reprint anytime. So if you do have the chance to grab your copies, I would just do so now and save yourself the trouble of having to pick them up over the next little while. The other final card that I want to note here is World Legacy Succession. is, I think it's cheaper than it really should be. Like, it's only $2, so I definitely grab a few copies of that. Other than that though, there's not really too much else that I would be going out of my way to grab. So for single cards, the first thing I want to mention is Meteor Black Comet Dragon. So this happens every now and then, right? We get a new card that's coming out, and then some card that hasn't been reprinted for that archetype gets bought out. And with Red Eyes, we just got Red Eyes Alternative Black Dragon, and with Red Eyes, we've actually seen this so many different times in the past, so many cards getting bought out, that it doesn't even really surprise me anymore. It's just kind of ridiculous. But this time we have Meteor Black Comet Dragon, which I assume is because of the release of Red Eyes Alternative Black Dragon. So yeah, this card is currently like $16, which is pretty ridiculous. I do remember this card being only $1 or so when the set first came out. I believe it was from Invasion Vengeance. But yeah, I do not expect Red Eyes to be impacting the meta anytime soon. So unfortunately, even though a lot of the cards and their artwork look really, really cool, this is one that I'm going to recommend that you guys dig out of your dollar binder or your bulk hollows and just get rid of as soon as possible. Okay, so next we have Super Rare Thunder Dragon Matrix from OTS Tournament Pack 9. So when this card first came out as super rare, it was originally like $8 to $10, but then that was back when pure Thunder Dragon variants were really popular. However, over time we've seen the deck evolve, and it has played Crusadia and the Danger Engine. So Thunder Dragon Matrix wasn't really played in those builds, it dropped out of favor, and we saw Thunder Dragon Matrix, as a result, drop to being like a 50-cent or $1 card. That being said, we have recently seen a little bit more of a jump in people playing pure Thunder Dragon, and as a result, Thunder Dragon Matrix Super has gradually been bought back up again. Now with all of the nice hollow, like secret rare prints of the Thunder Dragon cards in the Megatins, it's really, really easy to bling out the deck and make it really, really nice. And Thunder Dragon Matrix was kind of like that last piece that people needed to bling out the deck fully, right? Like even cards like Aloof Lupine and Batteryman Solar are now hollow. So Thunder Dragon Matrix was really like that last piece. It was, remember, only a rare in Soul Fusion, and then it was reprinted as a common in the Megatin. So yeah, this was like kind of like the natural last piece. We are currently seeing Thunder Dragon Matrix sitting at about $4, which is about what I expected. Like I'd expect anywhere from like $5 to $8, so like $4, whatever. I mean, this one's up to you guys. Like personally, I do think that Thunder Dragons are going to get hit on the upcoming ban list. I mean, like the deck has been out for over a year. And I don't really see them giving the deck any new support, so I think that we're gonna have like maybe Colossus and like Dragonhawk Limited the same way that they did in the OCG. That being said, if that happens, right, like Thunder Dragon Matrix, it's gonna fall back down to $1 because no one's really gonna be playing the deck with those hits. But yeah, it's not like a super big investment. So if you guys want to play that like really nice hollow blinged out version of Thunder Dragons, go ahead and pick them up. But like if you don't want to play the deck or you don't really see yourself using it, why not go ahead and move them for the few dollars that you can? So next up is Dark Sanctuary. This is a card from Rivals of the Pharaoh, which is a card set that wasn't really opened all that much. I think the only really good thing from that set was like Card of Demise. This is currently sitting at around $8. Historically though, we've seen it at anywhere from like $7 to up to $15 in terms of price. It's really just more of a collector card. It's something that revolves around the use of like Destiny Board, and it makes your opponent flip a coin when they want to attack you directly, which is like cool, right? It's something that like maybe a casual player is going to want to play with, but nothing really that's going to impact the meta. This is something that I see a lot of people offloading for like only $1 because they overlook its value. Or on the other hand, I have people tell me that they want like $15 full value for it because it's a collector's card that they think is going to go up in value over time. So this card was actually reprinted in Legendary Duelists 5 in the OCG. And we are going to be getting Legendary Duelists Immortal Destiny at the end of the month. And personally, I think that there is a pretty good chance that we're going to see this card get reprinted again in there as well. So this is a card that I would be trying to move for now and maybe be buying back later if you really want or need to have your copy of it. But also just to make sure that you guys are aware that this card isn't just a dollar card. So if you have it sitting in your dollar binder, maybe take it out and try to get some sort of value for it while you can. Okay, next up is Topologicalamour Dragon. This is one that was maybe a bit more abrupt than the other cards on the list. So this card isn't necessarily breaking the meta, but it is seeing an increase in play with the Rocket structure deck coming out, and then also Orcus adapting to the new meta and ban list. This card is a pretty viable option, and it was only reprinted in last year's Megatins. So where we saw it go for as low as $3 to $4 before, it is currently back up to a market price of around $10 for either secret rare copy. I think that the card does actually have a little bit of potential to go up, right? If the Rocket structure deck sees success in the upcoming format. However, that is a really big if. I don't really know how viable that deck is going to be, maybe following the ban list, so who knows. However, I also think that there is a fair chance that this could be reprinted in Dual Devastator as kind of one of those more generic Link 4 boss monsters, very similar to Boreload or to Yugioh or something like that. I am a big fan of playing things safe, so unless you guys want to play Rockets, I would be trying to offload my extra copies of this card while people are still hyped up about the Rocket deck. Now, let's take a look at number C107, Neo Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon. Specifically, let's take a look at the Ultimate Rare version. Right, the Ultimate Rare prints of cards are really common buyout targets because Ultimate Rares are harder to find and will almost always be considered the highest possible rarity of a card. So from what I understand, this card was bought out because you can summon it using number 97 Draglubion and put number 107 underneath it, which gives you access to its extra effect that lets you tribute 2 monsters you control to let it attack 2 extra monsters that turn, which honestly is like really underwhelming. I feel like that's pretty bad. This play is just like a much worse, much more like situational application of something like Double or Nothing Utopia. Anyways, yeah, so nothing that I think is going to be impacting the meta or anything, but however, unlimited copies of the Ultimate Rare version are currently like $12, and first eds are like over $20, which is kind of crazy. So if you have these cards sitting around somewhere, I would definitely go ahead and offload them. The supers haven't really been bought out, right? Which tells me that this isn't like a viable thing that people are going to want to do. It's more just like people bought out the Ultimate Rare because it's the highest rarity. But yeah, this card was actually included in the mega pack from its year. So if for some reason you really want to play it or you want to just have access to it in just in case, I would just grab the super, wait for that hype to die down, and then you can rebuy it again after. Either way, I'm not expecting this combo to see any meta play whatsoever. Okay, so continuing on with the trend of buying out older Ultimate Rare cards, we actually saw buyouts of Sun Dragon Inti and Moondragon Quilla in Ultimate Rare. This actually happened a little while ago, I believe, but I didn't really think that anyone would buy it out to this point. Anyways, there are a couple of new cards coming out in Legendary Duelist's Immortal Destiny that support the summoning of these 2 cards, right? Like, I don't think they're even really like an entire archetype or anything. They don't have more than a few cards. It's just like a few odd pieces here and there. That was enough of a catalyst for people to decide, hey, let's buy out the Ultimate Rare copies of this card. And now the Ultimate Rare first edition of each of these is sitting at like $22 a piece. Like, I guess it's okay, right? Because like prior to this, they weren't more than like $1 or so. So they had nowhere really to go but up. But nevertheless, these are just more cards that I think that you guys should be aware of. Pull out of your bulk dollar binder and move them for whatever you can. I'm pretty happy, I guess. Like, I'm not going to be playing this or anything, but I had like 9 copies of each in Ultimate Rare First Edition because I just like the way that they look. So I guess I'm going to be moving all of those from now on. Okay, so next up I have a couple more cards that aren't really like the targets of odd buyouts or anything, but I just wanted to have a bit of a discussion about them. So Infinite Impermanence is something that has been climbing up in price pretty steadily over like the last little while. So right now we're seeing ultra rares sitting at like $45, which is up from $35 to $40 where they were at before. And then we're also seeing secret rares hit almost like $70, which is pretty close to like that $80 price point that we saw them hit at kind of like their peak. This card is basically like the best hand trap of the format right now. I want to say that it's the best, but I think it's kind of like a 3-way tie between Infinite Impermanence and then something like Ghost Ogre and then Cypher Gear Gamma, all of which are very viable cards right now, not counting Nibiru because we just had Nibiru dropped into the TCG like literally this weekend. Anyways, Infinite Impermanence only has 2 printings, right? It was short printed in Flames of Destruction, and then it was short printed again in Dual Power. The thing that I'm not sure about is if this card is going to be reprinted in Dual Devastator. And like, it's the perfect card that would fit right in there, and it would be like a prime card that would help to sell that set a lot. But the thing is, if it was included in there, I feel like it would have been one of those cards that was advertised and like already confirmed. Like they confirmed cards like Super Polymerization and then Typhoon and then Spell Canceller. But what really would have gotten people more hyped up for that set is if they told us that Infinite Impermanence was in there. So I think there is still like a good chance that it's in there because it really does fit in there. But at the same time, I'm kind of hesitant. That being said, if you guys are able to move your copies of Infinite Impermanence for at market value or extremely close to market value, that is when I would go ahead and do it, right? If you have someone that's only offering like under $35 for an ultra rare copy, or they're only willing to pay like $50 to $55, maybe $60 for a secret rare copy of Infinite Impermanence, I would kind of lean towards holding on to it, because if it doesn't get reprinted in Dual Devastator, I don't see it really being reprinted until like that Battles of Legends type set that we don't get until March of next year, right? So in that case, I would kind of want to hold on to it. But if you can get like the full market price for the card now, then I would go ahead and move it and really just keep your fingers crossed that we do get it reprinted in Dual Devastator. Okay, so the last card I want to discuss here is Boreload Savage Dragon. So this is a key card that's used in a number of different decks like Pendulums and then Rockets as well, and it has kind of steadily gone up in price over the last month or so. I believe I covered this in a previous investment video when it was like $20, and I did recommend for you guys to pick it up. Anyways, I'm not tooting my own horn here or anything, but it has gone up, and we're currently seeing at a market price of about $40. I do believe actually that this card is something that I think will be in Dual Devastator as a reprint, and as a result, I do think that this is a card that you guys should be moving. I think that for an ultra rare from like an incredibly recent set, where we're getting like 4 ultra rares per box and the value is really only like in a secret rare, $40 is like the cap price that we are ever going to see an ultra rare hit for a main core set, right? So I don't think that there's much more room for this card to go up in price. I don't think that it's gonna hit 50. It could maybe hit that $45 price point, but I think that's stretching it, and I don't really think that anyone would actually be willing to pay that for a copy of this card. That being said, if you guys do have your copies of it and you can move a copy for $35 to $40, I would like hold on to maybe your one copy, because it's not necessarily confirmed to be reprinted in Dual Devastator, but it's not something that I would be holding on to multiple copies of and hoping that they continue to go up in price, because I think they have hit that cap and there is a very good chance that they will be reprinted soon. Alright guys, that is it for this video. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. I know it's been kind of like a quiet week in the market because all the attention has really been on the 2019 Megatins, and everyone's been really excited for them because they are one of the biggest products of the year. Hopefully you guys pulled really well from yours. I opened like a few tins on Sunday. I pulled 2 Nibiru and 4 Dark Ruler No More, and I got 0 Dimension Shifters, which was great. But yeah, I still have my cases of Megatins coming in later this week, and Tombox will be getting 1 case as well. So maybe we'll do some kind of like case opening challenge. But yeah, be sure to look forward to that. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button if you guys enjoyed this video, and be sure to leave a comment down below if maybe I missed something that's happening on the market, or you guys want to discuss another card with me, or you want me to cover a card in a future video, or maybe one of my explanations like wasn't on point, or maybe I'm missing something in the market. Please be sure to let me know down below. I'd really appreciate it. And as always, make sure that you guys subscribe to me and Tombox here at MST.TV so that you can get all of the latest content from us. And yeah, until next time guys, be sure to hold on to your MST.TV.